I'll get a chance to talk to a driver or two in a minute. Chaz, I don't know if you're back in the box, are you?
I am indeed, mate, yes.
Obviously he's not up there just yet.
I am, I'm here, I'm here, mate.
We'll get Chaz up in the main box very shortly.
I don't think John can hear me. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the action. And welcome back to British weather. It looked like we'd just about missed the worst of it. But right now, I'm afraid we are getting said worst of it at the moment, but this should make the racing all the more spicy, I imagine.
Well, I'm back in the assembly area now with Ryan Smith, and Ryan was suffering a few problems after the qualifying this morning. Ryan, apart from the obvious that it's now absolutely lashing it down, have you sorted the truck?
I'm just gutted for the spectators, really. You know, they've come out in force. I went round the campsite last night. I'm just ashamed for them for the rain. For me, it just evens it out. So we'll press on and see where we can get to.
The problems you had in qualifying all sorted?
Well, the clerk of the course has not been back in touch. He deleted 3 of our fast laps. We can't change the decision. We'll get on with it and we'll put a display on for the crowd.
I guess with these conditions that's not really going to make a great deal of difference. It's going to be a very different race now to what it would have been.
Yeah, this will mix it up a bit. This puts everybody on even curl, so we'll see what we can do, but we'll be there fighting.
Good luck, mate. You're leading the championship at the minute. Let's hope you're still doing it in another 20 minutes. Ryan Smith, ladies and gentlemen, championship leader. Now, I don't know whether we can...
We get to speak to the driver of the pace truck. This is Luke Osborne. Luke, tell us about this absolute beast behind you.
So we got the TGX D38 640. So it's a powerful truck, and it's a truck of the year, and it's a special edition Lioness as well. So it's got a very nice cab, very nice interior, but also got the horsepower as well.
It's very shiny as well. Who cleans it? Because it is kept absolutely immaculate.
Well, we've got a few valeters on site. They've kept it clean, so, and obviously we keep the interior clean as well. So.
And I mean, it looks absolute pristine, brand new. Are you going to be using this at all sort of British truck racing events this season?
No, so it's actually Stuart Oliver's truck. He's let us borrow it today for the pace truck. So once it's finished here, it will be going into use within his company.
So this is a racing truck or a haulage truck?
A haulage truck.
It is a haulage.
So it's a haulage
but
truck.
it's leading out the beast today.
Leading it out. It's leading.
And Luke, how do you get the job as a pace driver at British truck racing events?
I actually work for ML as a regional trainer for the Southwest, and we were down here in the week, and I got asked if I could do it. So I wasn't going to say no.
This is your first time doing it?
First time doing it, on the first race.
Did you get any training?
No training. No training. Jumped in the deep end.
Put your foot down and stay in front of the rest.
That's it.
We look forward to seeing you in the pace truck later on
Wonderful.
today, Luke.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Here with Martin Gibson and Stuart Oliver of Team Oliver. First of all, Martin, topping qualifying for race 1.
Yeah. Didn't expect that, to be honest, after practice. It was a tricky practice, but it all came together in qualifying.
I mean, it is a super fast track. How do you think it varies from Grand Cap?
Obviously very different because of the gradient, but it's fun in its own way, and it's got its own challenges, so I love it, to be honest.
And aiming to be first into the first corner?
Obviously.
Trying to beat this man here?
Well, yeah, that's right. Now, the key thing is, because we have the same colour trucks, we've got to also remember we are the same team as well, and sometimes it goes a bit array, that idea. But no, it's credit to Martin, he had a cracking qualifying. So we just we'll see if we can get round the corner side by side.
And you held off championship reigning champion Ryan Smith by 1,000th of a second. Doesn't get much tighter than that, does it?
No, he needs to get his finger out, doesn't he? Really? No, I was close at the end. Yeah, it was. That's really great. You know, when you think you've got nearly 5,300 kilos of truck on a long circuit like this, and you're talking about thousands of a second difference. You know, it just shows how competitive everything is and how close everything is. And like I said, credit to Martin to get up to the front and pole, and should now lead to some good racing.
You got second place twice at Brands Hatch. Can you go one better?
I'm intending to have, intending to. That's why we're here. We don't come just to drink the tea and have the biscuits. We come to get on the top step. So that's the aim. Obviously, that's what racing's about.
But a 1-2 for Team Oliver would be pretty special, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would. All weekend long, we'll take that. Yeah, no problem at all.
And Martin, you won one race. It was race 4 at Brands Hatch. Looking to top the podium again today.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, a 1-2 for me and Stuart. Either way is what we're here for. So fingers crossed.
Now, although you're racing competitively, as a team, will you be trying to hold off Ryan together, or is it completely every man for himself?
I'm scared of all of them, to be honest, especially this one. So just want to get back.
We really look forward to seeing you race. We'll catch up with you later as well. Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
In the paddock with Adam Bint, good qualifying for you.
Yeah, it was better than we expected. We had some issues in the warm-up this morning, and we only managed to do one lap, and so we went out without any adjustments or anything and managed to put on pole, so it's more than we could ask for.
Going to try that tactic again later on?
Yeah, we've not changed anything other than swap some tyres around. We'll go straight out and see how the race comes to us, because the way the weather's coming in, it might even rain before then.
I think it might be a wet one come 3 o'clock or so. Now, tell us about the truck behind you, because it's one of the most recognisable on the grid. Got a bit of a history to it as well.
Yeah, it's a 1989 Volvo White. We built a completely new chassis for it in 2019, but obviously with 2020 we didn't get much running with it, so it's the first time we've been here with it as well, first time we've been round here and put in a qualifying time like that, which is 2 seconds faster than I've ever been round here, so it's going in the right way, and hopefully we can improve over the weekend and over the season.
Now, it's a different sort of track to Brands Hatch. Does that affect the setup in terms of tyres and engine, etc, etc?
Yeah, totally different setup there. Here it's fast flowing corners. At Church you hit it at 100 mile an hour, where Brands Hatch you're slowing right down to 50, 60, some of the hairpin to then drag right down the hill and stuff like that, so it's a totally different setup.
Now, your lap time was 1:40. How much of that time is spent on the button at 100 miles an hour?
I think the average times are something like 78 miles an hour around here or something. Don't quote me on that, but it was something like that.
Fantastic. Well, look, good luck with the race later. Look forward to catching up with you after some races today and tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much.
From the earlier race, the pronunciation that you didn't get, so apologies to the driver, team, family, whatever. But it's Wyazowski. Wyazowski. So WHYSOSKIE. Wyazowski is the phonetic way of saying it.
Thank you very much for getting that, because I don't like to offend people by saying their name wrong.
No, so apologies to them, and we'll try and get that right later on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you won't be the first person to mispronounce a name in racing commentary. The heat of the battle, things can get a little bit mixed up, I'm sure. But yes, so we see the trucks now making their way onto the outlap. Just a quick run through of the order after the qualifying we had earlier on. Martin Gibson takes pole position in his number 11 GT truck. Stuart Oliver in second on the front row outside there, and surprising qualifying position for Flying Ryan Smith in the number 1 truck. He just pipping to the post between the two GT truck friends. We've then of course got John Newell fourth on the outside, followed by Dave Jenkins 69, 86 for Tom O'Rourke, and Mark Taylor 21 bringing up the rear in Division 1. No sign of Jonathan Willis though this weekend, which is unfortunate. He was struggling with some issues at Brands Hatch earlier on in the season, but hopefully we're going to see him later on, possibly next to Donington, I suspect. Down to Division 2 now. Getting to the front of those, we've got Adam Bin, who's a fantastic effort. I've been told off by Adam Bin's team, by the way, Chaz, for not mentioning the team themselves enough. And actually, there's nothing to do with the driver, it's the team that gets the truck out onto the track. So,
try to take the credit.
Yeah, there we go to Team Bin, that is your official shout out. Craig Reed in the Iveco number 68. We've then got Stephen Powell in the number 3 Dines truck. Unfortunately, a bit of bad news and a massive shout out to Knuckles, one of their team mechanics, who unfortunately passed away 2 weeks after Brands Hatch. So they're going into this weekend doing it for Knuckles. So I hope everybody here in the stadium can give the number 3 Dines truck a good cheer as it makes its way around. Jock Borthwick, number 32, a newcomer to the sport as well, his first round at Brands Hatch earlier on. We've then got Simon Cole in the Team Hard Pink Mercedes, number 41. 46 is Bradley Smith, and of course at the back Craig Evans, who I do believe spent most of his morning under his truck, Chaz.
Yes, I know that some of these guys, when one tiny thing goes wrong on such big machines like this, it can be an absolutely catastrophic thing. When we were covering the European series at the Hungaroring a few weeks ago, one of the scrutineering tests to measure the boost pipe actually damaged a boost pipe on the pole sitter's truck.
Oh dear.
And it was his home race. It was Norbert Kish, the Hungarian, leading his own home race. 3 laps in, suddenly black smoke everywhere, and all of the boost pressure was gone. And he was fuming with fuming with the process. Fuming with not just that, but the process as well. You know, the fact that obviously they had to do this test, but he didn't agree with the method in which they did it, and it damaged a part of the truck. But this is just an absolute sight to behold. It's amazing to see these machines lining up here at Thruxton, the fastest circuit in the UK. Plenty of smoke coming from the 32 machine, but it was doing that in qualifying earlier, and it seemed to go all right. So wondering whether that may be just a bit of loose oil dripped on a hot pipe or something like that. I mean, we've all seen it before.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, number 32, Jock Borthwick, actually, I do believe it's a different truck this weekend than what he had at Brands Hatch. Whether it's just a completely new paint job, he was sporting quite a matte grey finish in the MV commercial sponsored MAN at Brands Hatch in the opening of the season. One person who has unfortunately not made it to the race today is Paddy Mack. That is Paul McCumsky. He's unfortunately still in the paddock working tirelessly on his truck. Apparently everything was running perfectly fine until he came to unload the truck here at Thruxton at the beginning of the weekend, and he didn't want to start. Unfortunately they won't be racing this afternoon. Fingers crossed they get something sorted. I know the guys from Bint Racing were helping him out at lunchtime with some electrical tests to see if it was a problem with the injectors. But again, we've got one more race left with the British truck, so hopefully he'll be able to get out for that. Just quickly on the subject of Team Bint, actually, I've been told to say happy birthday to Cara, because of course we'd get in trouble with Team Bint if we don't do what we're told.
Yes, indeed, it certainly seems that way.
What do you think is going to happen with the weather this afternoon?
They're all down below us, guys, and they're not celebrating too much at the minute, so maybe after the race.
Yes,
30
indeed.
seconds board being shown, so we're going to be underway fairly shortly.
Smashing stuff, thank you, John. Weather-wise,
we can see a lot of cloud rolling.
We live in England, mate.
What?
Yes, indeed, yeah, quite a lot
Why
of
are you
cloud.
two talking about the weather and it's me that's standing out in it? That's what I want to know.
It's all about art and
Yeah.
perception, John, so we can appreciate the art of the rain from a distance in this lovely little glass box.
Actually, there's just the odd spit in the rain in the air at the minute. Nothing too much, although looking behind you and where it came from, it looks like it's coming again. So we could see a wet race.
it looks like we just about missed the worst of it as it went over Goodwood at the far end of the circuit. But yeah, like you say, I think it's going to come around and bite us in the backside.
I'm not sure anybody can count it because they showed a 30-second board. They've just now showed a 1-minute board, but never mind.
Well, that means we've got more time to
Yeah,
talk.
plenty
They
of
do
time.
they do things differently in truck racing, I've been told. They're counting up.
Yes, they do. They definitely do. Whilst we're on the subject of the weather, some people who may not be too chuffed about the rain ruining their perfect polished finishes, of course, is the Convoy show truck drivers, which you'll find in the infield. We've also got the Convoy public vote happening this weekend as well. So if you do have time at some point today,
We are rolling. We are
have
rolling.
a little walk through the infield. There's some QR codes posted around the show trucks as well, so you can follow the instructions on your phone. And then, of course, we'll be doing a best in show public vote. I'd like to take
What's going back to Thruxton now? What do you get if you take 5 tons of metal, 1100 horsepower, 12-litre engine, dribble a bit of rain, then throw in the fastest race track in the UK?
They're all
British truck racing champions here, Dave. Over to Dave.
That's it. I never thought I'd actually get put in the countdown.
evidence at least that we're social distancing.
All the trucks are on their way, guys.
Quality.
I'm social distancing down here on the Jack Jones.
You find yourself some shelter,
Yeah, I'm all
perhaps
right.
a nice trolley.
To be fair,
Yeah.
in this commentary box here, it looks like the roof's about to come in on points here.
I'll be okay. I'll be okay. It'll hit my head before it gets to me.
Should we tell John that we've got the aircon?
Yeah.
I don't think we need the aircon on. Well, it's rough with the smooth here at Thruxton because I have heard several horror stories because we are surrounded with glass panels and a very thin roof above us, that it does get swelteringly hot in hot weather up here. So it is nice to be outside in the sun and inside in the rain. So
Nice problem.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a nice problem to have indeed.
You chose to wear shorts, John. That's all I'm saying.
I don't dare get my legs out, to be fair. They look better than these. Anyway, there's trucks on the horizon, and to be fair, as a very new fan of truck racing, I fell in love with it instantly when I first saw it only a few months ago. And to be fair, that's a hell of a sight of the horizon over there. And one of the things that I pointed out to one of us is the fact that you can tell which truck is which from distance, unlike you can with a Caterham or a Mini.
There's certainly a lot more on show as they make their way around the back of the circuit, yes. Of course, for the spectators, it's quite difficult to see much further than halfway around the big circle, as I like to famously call it. But yeah, all the way down to past Noble and Goodwood, it does get a little bit foggy, a little bit harder to see. But of course, with those higher vehicles, you do get an inkling of who might be there. Of course, a lot of the colour schemes looking quite similar at the moment. There's a few white trucks down there now, so they can get muddled up. But of course, as we see them head through here in the club chicane just at the beginning of the complex, we'll certainly be able to put the wheat from the chaff as we see who manages to get into that chicane first, because it really is a very tight corner. We've obviously seen them come through for qualifying and paid practice, where they've not had to struggle, they've not had to fight for that chicane, or of course for the Campbell Cobb as well. Whereas in race conditions, if you try and fit two trucks through that gap, it is not going to happen.
No.
And of course there is a small patch of grass that they might be able to run off onto before they hit that blue porter cabin there.
Well, you said cut the wheat from the chaff. Let's hope none of the trucks end up in the wheat. It'll certainly be an interesting
Pointy, what do you know about the pace truck? Anything? Because normally that's sponsored by somebody or other.
I can see it's grey.
Yeah, it's grey.
I do believe, I haven't actually had any details about the pace truck.
So normally,
we can see lots of Vision Track and GT sponsorship on there though, so
coming in.
Perhaps some there. So we've got red lights on the pit straight now as they line up, looking for the lights to go out. The lights are out, they are away now.
Oliver's got it.
Division 1. Oliver pips it, yes. Now Martin Gibson slipping in just behind him. It's a tussle between Newell and Ryan Smith as they go. We've got Division 2 now following.
Yeah, Binty's got that one up the inside. He was on pole, wasn't he? He didn't get the best of start. He was a little bit behind. He's lost out now. The motor's gone. Something's wrong with Binty's truck.
Oh, it's not the first time today either that Bint's had an issue. Unfortunately, he's been plagued with them all day by the look of it, and now it's really finished off.
He's gone to the back of the field as they go through the complex. So unfortunately, his race is run by the looks of it.
That's a real shame for Binty, but yeah, very interesting start at the front though. Like you say, Oliver having a really, really good getaway there, going around the outside of Gibson, and now as they streak away, it looks like it is still Oliver from Gibson, and the rest of them rattling around behind him just to try and jostle for any position.
You're walking down the pits and it starts pissing.
Stephen Powell, Simon Cole, Brad Smith and Craig Evans bring up the back there as well.
I think something wrong with the left-hand front wheel on the bin truck. That's maybe the problem. There were some reports came in on the green flag lap. He's now into gasoline alley, or diesel alley as we should be calling it.
Indeed.
I'll just keep an eye on it. You carry on with the race, guys.
I was going to say, it's interesting you say that actually, because as he leant on the front left as he came out of the chicane here, there's a big black streak as it spat loads of diesel down on the circuit, almost like when it leant on that front left. it's spun up the rears. Maybe it's a massive tyre streak or something, but either way, the battle for the lead still very much going on as they go around Goodwood. I think, to be fair, it's actually Smith that's gone up into second place, and yeah, as you saw before, Pointy, Gibson dropped down to fourth, didn't he?
Yeah, tucking in behind Dave Jenkins. Of course, Dave Jenkins in the 69 truck, still quite a big contender for the championship. The top 5 really in the Division 1, there's only a few points between them, so every race really does matter for those first few positions. Division 2 looked to be settling in quite nicely, though a few seconds behind the Div 1 pack. But Craig Reed absolutely miles ahead, tailing off the back of the much faster Division 1 truck.
Oh, we've got big contact at the front, sideways.
Oh, Ryan Smith looking for a gap through Stuart Oliver. Stuart Oliver not letting him through, Chaz.
No, they had a little bit of a touch, and Oliver was sideways. He's looking down the inside again, a little bit of a bump on the exit of the final chicane. Now this is going to fall into the hands of David Jenkins as well. He's going to go around the outside.
Has to cut the corner, followed by Chuck Borthwick. Simon Cole managed to make it ways round. The wetness, I think, is getting to the track now. We're getting a little bit of dampness, we're losing a little bit of traction. Of course, depending on how the setups were made before the race, it was a gamble. Did they go for dry? Did they go for wet? Tyre pressures can play a massive part, especially when you're doing these long sweeping bends like you are, with the 4.5 tonnes of metal and fiberglass that sits on these 1,000 horsepower engines. 100 miles with a little bit of grease. It's a pretty scary thought, Chaz.
It can indeed. I mean, doing it in the dry is scary.
Jenkins was still in third when he went through the complex. I don't know whether you can see that from up there, guys, but he was climbing all over the back of Smithy. But Smithy, in his traditional fashion, making it very difficult.
Yeah, indeed. Jenkins was looking around the outside to maybe get a cut back into turn 1, but it didn't really work for him. But the lead battle now seems to have gone the way of Ryan Smith.
Adam Bimp back out on circuit as well. They didn't even look at that wheel, so I don't know what the problem was.
Oh, it looked to me like he just had a bit of a wobble through Church there. I'm not sure whether that was just the window seems a little bit bent in this commentary box, but it certainly looked like it was out of shape through Church Corner for Bint. And obviously, if you've got a damaged front left, then that's not the place to have one. But the lead battle overall has now definitely gone the way of Ryan Smith. He's getting away at the moment, and now it's down to Jenkins to try and get back past Stuart Oliver and go chasing. But what also could Martin Gibson do? He's come back through. Bint comes through the last chicane, big sideways moment. Lovely stuff, but here comes the lead pack, Pointy.
So we've got Ryan Smith now quite comfortably in first place at the moment, just looking his nice line. We've got a beautiful train of the Division 1 trucks following very closely, nose to tail. Everybody makes it through just right. Mark Taylor putting some serious back-end action there as the number 86 John Borthwick just, Tom O'Rourke, to apologise, not John, Tom O'Rourke in front. But Craig Reed still an astounding effort to be that far ahead of the Division 2 pack and so close to the Division 1s.
I just can't believe how sideways these things can get out of the final corner. They've got, what, nearly 5,000 newton metres of torque and still
Six in most of them.
Jesus Christ, it's just scary beyond belief.
It's big time, it's big time.
But the fact that they can still have that and still put the power down and go completely sideways out of the final chicane is absolutely amazing.
It is insane. The trucks themselves can obviously do a lot faster than 100 miles an hour, but by regulations they are limited to 100. You might hear the term overspeed knocked around the circuit sometime this weekend. That just means that obviously the trucks themselves have somehow managed to coast a little bit quicker than the speed limiter would have them go powered by the engine. Of course, that does incur a penalty in certain situations, and that will be a time penalty, which could actually take you from first place to second, third, or even fourth if they're close enough together at the front of the pack.
Very true indeed.
Simon Cole makes up a place then. He's got past Borthwick in the other MW truck. Bit of a mistake, I think, as they came onto the start-finish straight.
Yeah, he was very, very sideways when he came into view here. Now, just keep your eye here, Pointy, on Bint as he comes out of this final corner, because he gets this thing all sorts of crossed up, and I definitely think that there is an issue. Now, the battle for second place is really hotting up as well, but we'll keep our eye on Bint, because to me, that front left is not behaving itself. It's understeering all over the shop.
Definitely has very little traction. Yeah. Plumes of black smoke. I mean, is there something on the track there? We see Ryan Smith sail through quite nicely. Loads of steam coming from the waterfall brakes of Dave Jenkins. They are coming out wide. Dave Jenkins' tail end still out as he makes his way out of club into Allard. Is there something on the track down here? Craig Reed
That's cost him a place, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Gibson's trying to go around the outside. He's now on the... No, he's actually slid back in behind him.
Gibson's gone back behind, yeah.
Of course, from this tower up here, we can't quite see the action unfolding around the second chicane, or the first chicane on the track, around Campbell to Cobb to Seagrave. those little bends just behind these airport buildings, really, that we can't quite see that action over there. But as they
I can
make
see
their
most of it from here pointing.
Oh, fantastic.
Not
So you
all of
keep
it,
an eye
but
on it
some of
for
it,
us.
yeah.
The team effort, John, that's the main thing.
I can see most of it. There's one or two hangars in the way and a helicopter stuck in the middle of a truck race, but apart from that, we're fine.
I was going to say, who put that airfield in the way?
Unbelievable, I know. It's a very, very difficult situation. We should have a word with them. Looking out in the distance, though, we see quite big gaps starting to emerge between all of the trucks in both of the divisions. It really is about the racing line. Of course, when you're at the front of the pack, you've got a lot of fighting. You can actually lose some speed, lose some of that angles through the corners. But then when you get to situations such as your village, such as your church, you get that opportunity to carry some speed through, a bit of late braking, and see if you can take out your opponent, obviously without, of course, taking them out.
I'm intrigued to see how Bint does here, because he's been lapped now by Ryan Smith, but he's got a big train of them behind him, and I'm wondering how he's going to stay out of the way of all these guys without holding any of them up. This could get very interesting indeed, but Ryan Smith, truck 1, P1 at the moment, doing a wonderful job of it. He's not cutting that final curve anymore after he got told off for it in qualifying. But as you'll see, the people down in front of him here at the tower will absolutely be loving this, because so many of them are sideways. A big, big moment from the 81. Mark Taylor, he's loving the drift today, isn't he?
He is indeed, yes. Tom overall bringing up the rear of the Division 1 truck, very closely followed, of course, by the 68 Craig Reed, who's still doing an astounding effort to stay well ahead of the Division 2. Of course, in Division 2 followed by Powell, then Cole, then Hawkman, Evans, Smith, and of course Bint a lap behind, unfortunately.
Stuart Oliver seems to be dropping off just a little bit. John Newell was climbing all over the back and Oliver weaving down the start-finish straight trying to keep him at bay. So whether Oliver's got a little gremlin in there, we'll wait and see.
Bradley Smith and Craig Evans here just finishing off the race back as they come through the complex and around club. Not quite got the speed, but of course relatively new drivers to the sport, and of course you have to start somewhere. A bad idea would be to jump into a massive Division 1 truck and then lose your head completely, which of course would be quite dangerous to other people on the track as well as yourself.
Yeah, that's it. You know, you have to still, you have to build up to it. You know, I mean, as we were saying before, you know, it was Jock Borthwick, wasn't it? It's his first experience in truck racing at the moment, and he's doing a great job of it. You know, he's out there and he's competitive and he's right with all the rest of them. You know, he's certainly, like you say, potentially in a new truck compared to one that he was in at Brands Hatch.
Exactly.
Looks like Bint hasn't held anybody up here, by the way. He's done a good job of that.
No, indeed. So, not that everybody might know, but of course in truck racing we do what's called a reverse grid. So the racers themselves very used to having to get through the slower trucks. Of course, in the next weekend, which will be later on this afternoon, just before bedtime actually, they will reverse the grid, which means the slower trucks starting pole and the quickest fastest finishers will start at the back. So it creates more of a challenge, more of an effort for the quicker drivers to battle through those slower drivers to get back into their first place position. We see Division 2 now coming through. Stephen Powell finding a much nicer line through the club chicane there. Simon Cole, the veteran as well. It's good to see him in his Mercedes for once, not having any luck whatsoever at Brands Hatch, not even managing to get out for a race.
Oh, heck. Well, I tell you what, they were certainly reorganising the tyre bales there through that final bit. There was a lot of bodywork flapping around. Somehow the tyre bales have shown their rigidity and not moved, but yeah, there was certainly a lot of them clipping it on the way through. Number of them jumping the final curve through the right-hander as well, really getting the truck unsettled, and as they try and put the power down, the back end stepping out. But sometimes that's not the worst thing in the world, because these guys carry that momentum so well, don't they, when they just get sideways.
Well, the green strip just coming out of this chicane under our commentary box here, it's obviously a completely different surface texture to the tarmac of the racetrack, so it's going to hold a lot more moisture, a lot more rain, and it's going to add that little bit of a flutter, that little bit of a spit at the moment. Anybody that goes across that is going to really suffer with traction. We are still surrounded with everybody here at Thruxton has got their ponchos with them. We look to the right here and see some very lucky spectators under the shelter. I think they went for the right idea this weekend.
And this bloke's got a great hat on as well outside the window as well. You've got to love that. Hats off to you, so it looks like Vic Reeves. Anyway, we've got Ryan Smith.
Driver warning flags, guys, for 86 and 18 going to be presented.
86 and 18, Tom O'Rourke and John Newell.
Speaking of the 18, John Newell, contact with the finals became
John Newell powering away.
Grass goes Taylor, sideways on the exit, lights up the rears in anger, still sideways now.
I didn't know we were doing drifting this weekend.
Honestly.
But Mark Taylor, fantastic job there of keeping his cool, keeping that bend, even though there was some coming together with John Newell there.
That was unbelievable stuff, and the fact that these things lean so much but still keep their traction is phenomenal. We've got Cole again all over the shop using all of the curb, all of the painted surface.
81 and 41 and one more I couldn't read. They got so many numbers on the board.
Oh yeah, they've got 32,
81 for Mark Taylor, 31. We've got 41 perhaps. You've got Simon Cole. Running out of spaces for warning flags. Of course, we will only see on the TSL report at the end of it what, of course, the decisions were and what differences that will make to the standing order at the end of the race. As I said earlier on for a moment there, if there are penalties during the race, even though they cross the line first, it doesn't necessarily mean they'll be getting the silverware by the end of the weekend.
No, indeed, that's it. You can still get a slap on the wrists after the race. The race control can't come and get you while you're out on the track, I suppose.
Definitely not.
They can wave flags at you and show you numbers all they want, but yeah, they can't come and get you. So I suppose if you don't want to come into the pits, then you can't get told off.
Indeed. Well, I'm glad to see so many spectators here this weekend. And speaking about the pits and the paddock, it's great that we're able to have some spectators come and see all the machines this weekend, which is fantastic. Obviously, with the restrictions being slightly lighter than they were originally. We'll be doing the trophies over there as well in front of the media centre straight after this race. Ryan Smith now coming back through club, absolutely perfect, no issues whatsoever. Settling in to his almost 4-second lead ahead of the 69 Jenkins, but Martin Gibson not taking no for an answer, right on his tail through the complex. We've got Stuart Oliver, then to John Newell, bit of a gap, we've got Mark Taylor, Tom O'Rourke at the back in the 86, and Bint, of course, just sitting, doing his laps, actually keeping a relatively good lap time considering. But Craig Reed, absolutely impressive performance here, and perhaps he just likes a greasy track.
Maybe he does, yeah. And I was saying earlier on today, you know, with the weather being different, it demands a completely different bag of talent from drivers. You see it in all forms of motorsport. The results are just so different when the track is wet. You never know what you can expect. But
checkered flag being ready, guys. Is this the last lap?
It will be, yes. Actually,
20 seconds left of the race
Time
already.
flies when you're having
It's
fun.
incredible. I mean, the 2.3 mile long track here at Thruxton seems like it can take a while to get round, but that really has come around quite quickly, hasn't it?
2.3 miles, it's almost as long as that Jaguar XJS that was racing earlier. But to be honest though, I wanted to mention that Powell is actually dropping back and being caught by Cole and Borthwick. I'm not sure if he'll do enough in time with this being the last lap, and to be fair, I don't think anyone could do anything right now to catch Ryan Smith. He's been absolutely flawless since he got the lead.
Yeah, coming back from third, which of course that position was given to him with some decisions made by Clark of the course during qualifying. He certainly shows that he has got the ability. The truck is there. Fantastic results already with this new Mercedes, with the Mercedes version of the MAN engine in it as well. So they've obviously done a lot of work on it. The previous Norbert Kiss truck, I do believe, that was in the FIA last year, yes.
So potent.
Quite pokey indeed, yes. Probably a different setup. We've got the checkered flag out now, and Ryan Smith crosses with a very happy 5-second lead ahead. We've then got in second place 69 Dave Jenkins, followed closely by Martin Gibson in third, fourth Stuart Oliver, fifth John Newell, and sixth, happy for it to be over probably, Mark Taylor, and finally of course the 86 Tom O'Rourke just to finish off the Div 1s. Now of course Binty essentially a lap behind, but the 68 Craig Reed powering through, massive gap ahead, taking first place for Division 2. Stephen Powell now coming out of club, looking very comfortable, like he's going to be getting the second, followed by Simon Cole. Fantastic result, bit of sideways action, almost lost it. Could have spoken too soon, but no, he's through. Stephen Powell second, Simon Cole third, and then Jock Borthwick in fourth, and then not too far behind the pack to finish off the race, number 40, Bradley Smith, and then, of course, finally, the number 10, Craig Evans.
Brilliant stuff. Like you say, the sideways action is part of the fun in this. I remember you mentioned Norbert Kish there, and when he won one of the further races in it was actually race 3, I think, that he won at the Hungaroring, his home race. He was drifting the truck round like a madman across the line. He almost had it at 45 degrees around the final corner at the Hungaroring, which is not easy in any car, never mind a truck. But either way, a really exciting race there to get the day under the way for the British Truck Racing Championship. Thank you very much for joining me, Pointy. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Thank you very much, and not a problem at all. Just to let everybody know, the next race, of course, will be the final race of the day this evening with the British Trucks, which is at 5 to 6. So if you're still around to see that, it'll be fantastic. And now I'm back over into the paddock to hand out some very well-deserved silverware for the first race of the weekend.
Lovely stuff. Thanks
Cheers,
very much,
Chaz.
Pointy. Cheers, mate. Absolute pleasure to have Pointy from the British Truck Racing Championship in the box with me there. Wonderful stuff. He dons the cap and the glasses and he's back out into the British weather. Back down. It's faster than the trucks, but he makes his way now back down to the paddock. But Ryan Smith, what a fantastic victory that was, John. Once he took that race lead, he was just gone and away with it as if nobody could challenge him, and they couldn't.
Yeah, indeed he was. I'm in Parc Ferme, so we'll get a word with the drivers and then they'll go on to Pointy for the official presentation. So it should give us a little bit of time as well. The catering's already lining up, ready.
Sorry, we've got drivers drifting the trucks around the final corner.
Surely not.
Yeah, it's absolutely...
Truck drivers showboating, I don't believe you.
It is absolutely stunning to watch. I love it. Absolutely love it.
So Ryan Smith, championship leader, brings the truck back in, and that's going to be more points on his tally. So whatever his problems were this morning, and the weather conditions certainly worked in his fashion. Dave Jenks will be happy as well with the second place, I'm sure. Our first three come in. See if we can get a word with Ryan. I know he'll be more than happy to talk to us because he likes to talk to the spectators as well. I think we'll just give them a second or two. They're taking their crash helmets off, so doors are open. Let her get a bit of air in. Jenks is already out of the cab. And Dave, second place, you must be happy with that?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, good. Yeah, it's a tough few laps and settled down. Martin was very fast but very fair. So great racing. Yeah, long may it continue.
Hopefully another race later on and then tomorrow.
Sorry, I missed that.
I said another race later on then tomorrow. So again, things getting better for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a long weekend, but we just keep moving forward, won't we?
Good luck, Dave. Where's Smithy? Let's have a quick word with him. There he is. Ryan, what about the rain? What about the truck? Whatever it was, it all went in your favour in the end.
Well, no, we got the truck sorted, and I was frustrated. I was frustrated from qualifying with what the clerk of the course did to me. But can I just say, I need to dedicate that win to a little guy on Facebook called Ethan Adams, who's a very poorly little 4-year-old, and we mentor 10 children, and Ethan's another addition to what we've added to. He's very poorly in hospital, and he sent me a video before I went out saying, Ryan, you can do this. And you know what? That was for him, and he was the drive behind my aggression in that race. And I'll tell you something now, we live in a cruel world sometimes, but there's beautiful people, and you know, that just spurred me on. I wish Ethan a speedy recovery and be with us soon.
Well, don't we all, and that's great news, and I'm sure probably you'll be on the phone to him in a moment or two.
Yeah, he'll be getting my trophy, so unfortunately if there's any children out there, they won't be getting my first trophy because I promised that Ethan, but we try and give back to children. The spectators have come out in the rain, they've come out in force. As I said, we was in the campsite last night and we was talking to people, and we're normal human beings, they're normal human beings. We all want a good time. We've had a tough time, and hopefully the weekend's full of fun for everyone.
Well, congratulations on the win anyway, Ryan, and we'll look forward to talking to you again later on.
Thank you.